You are going to enjoy today's segment here in the program talking about landscape renovation. And Mark, who in the world isn't involved at some level with landscape renovation around the house, huh?
Well, this is something that homeowners, actually they watch our show. They called us up and had a challenge here. It was a home that the landscaping just was getting a little bit tired.
Well, you've done a marvelous job. We'll take some up close and personal looks, but this home as well has been renovated, correct?
It has been, and one of the first things that we started out tackling was the front approach, or the sidewalk going up to the front of the house.
So that was your biggest challenge?
One of multiple challenges. You know, this pretty good size house here on a fairly large piece of property. We are out here in the country, so blessed with quite a bit of land here, and so really wanted to take advantage of that. What you would have seen here with the previous landscape is a sidewalk half the width of what we've got here and considerably closer to the house, and because of that, the plantings just simply were overhanging. They were outgrowing the landscape bed and into the sidewalk, made it feel very tight and enclosed.
Well, I tell you what, you know, you've been in business a long time, and when you first started, that 3-foot wide sidewalk was probably in vogue back then, right?
Absolutely. It's what you see 99.9% of the time. Craig, what we have here is twice that. This is a 6-foot sidewalk, and we've got a beautiful brick that has a range of colors in it. And I like working with a range of colors, especially when we're wanting to blend with an exterior of the house. Now, we got a heads up as to what the new exterior colors were going to be, and the nice thing about the range of colors is that it blends so much easier than solid colors.
Yeah, I love it. And it's not busy like you might think it could be, right?
No, so we've got a couple of brick patterns going on here, and because of the size of the sidewalk, we can do that. We feel that it is eye candy, and what I particularly like is the soldier course. That's the brick running in the opposite directions all along both sides of the sidewalk.
Nicely done, Mark Linton, nicely done.
Well, thank you. Another thing is that we pulled the sidewalk out quite a bit further from the house than the previous walk, and so that gives us a lot more space to work with, allows us to do layering. We have taller plants in the back, shorter plants in the front, and again, we're using one of my favorite stone ground covers, which is stone bark, and it has the look and feel of bark nuggets, but it's actually a man-made stone product that won't rot, won't deteriorate. We can put a woven fabric weed barrier underneath there. It lets water go through but prevents weeds from coming up. It is low maintenance, and homeowners going to get a minimum of at least 20 years worth of use out of it.
It looks fabulous, and
Well,
will
thank you.
continue to look that way. Boy, we talk about some practical tips though, and you touched on it, the taller plants in the back, the smaller ones here in the front.
Yes.
And anyone at home can appreciate that, right?
It just displays itself quite nicely. And then we also design it so we've got spring blooming, we've got summer blooming and fall interest, and then equally important here in Michiana is our evergreens, and evergreens aren't necessarily green. They can be different colors. We've got different shades of greens. We've got blue evergreens. I am standing next to what is a weeping red jade crab, and Craig, this is anchoring the front corner of the garage, and this put out the most spectacular, beautiful pink flowers this past spring.
Wow, so you don't have to wait 5 years before that color to take place.
They got the show this
Right
past
away,
spring. Yeah.
right out of the box.
So now
Cool.
that this tree is done blooming, we've got these beautiful astilbes here, and they're just now sending up their spikes of flowers, and they will continue to bloom throughout the summertime. So we've got non-stop color. For the bones of our landscape, we had mentioned earlier evergreens. Well, we've got these globe-shaped boxwoods strategically placed in front of these garage windows. These are going to stay low. This is a nice architectural feature of the house, and we don't want to hide it.
Sure. I bet you had fun designing this, didn't you?
I love doing this. There isn't anything I love more than this. Got a couple of dwarf evergreens here. These are slender Hinoki Cypress, And they're here for some vertical height. They're also an evergreen backdrop to a very specimen tree. And this is one of our Young's weeping birch. And what I really like is during the fall and the wintertime, after it's lost its leaves, you can see the serpentine-shaped tree trunk. And in the fall, you also get a beautiful display of color. These leaves turn a brilliant gold.
Fantastic, fantastic. A lot of interest here going on.
And all of our specimen trees, you're going to notice that we've got spotlights, and oh my goodness, you got to come back here at night or do a drive-by and see this. It puts on a totally different look, a nice show. It's also a great way not only to welcome the homeowners, but the guests as well. So spotlights on all of our specimen trees, path lights following the curve of the sidewalk here. Another thing with the landscape lighting is that it provides a nice security. So we've got this all the way around the house, and it comes on automatically and shuts off automatically.
Hey, speaking of specimen trees, these two are beauts, aren't they? One of your favorites.
Look right around the corner.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, we've got a trio of red Japanese lace leaf maples, and chose these because of the coloration and how those leaves contrast up against the stone behind us. And each one of these trees we're highlighting with a spotlight. Then down around the base of the tree, we're doing a repeat of that color with our coral barrels there. That they've got the same coloration in the leaves there.
Interesting. Boy, so much thought has gone into this. You can't miss a single detail, can you?
Well, up against the front porch here, we're in some pretty shaded conditions, and so perfect conditions for these hydrangeas to bloom and to thrive here. It provides our summer color. These are endless summer hydrangeas. They only get to be about 4 feet in height and about the same in width. They continue to bloom throughout the summertime and into the fall.
Is that blue or violet?
It's both blue and violet. You get both colors there.
Cool.
And because we were working with a really flat piece of property, we brought in quite a bit of topsoil here to do some mounding and berming, and really like how this turned out here, this berm. And then viewing it from this direction, you can see the intricate detail that our crew did, creating the rock and stone wall.
The homeowner has done an excellent job, though. Wouldn't you agree with the lawn that is just beyond the landscaping?
Oh
here?
my goodness, it's like a golf course here.
Yeah.
We did have one challenge with bringing the sidewalk out so far in this landscape bed. We ended up with a wellhead actually incorporated into the landscape.
Really?
And unfortunately, most
you
homeowners
dug it up.
No. You know what? If you come over here, this is one of our wellhead covers. This is a artificial boulder. It's actually fiberglass, and yeah, incredibly tough and solid. That is hiding the utilities under there.
Wow, I'd say that there's one thing that can ruin a landscape look, and that is the necessary evils, as you like to call them.
Exactly.
And you've done a great job covering that up.
Well, Craig, along the sidewalk here, you're going to see a row of lavender, and the homeowner here has a great appreciation not only for lavender, but anything that puts out a nice fragrance. And so wanted to greet the guests with the fragrance and aroma of fresh lavender here. And lavender just starting to bloom here. It'll continue to bloom all season long and all the way up until frost in the fall. One of the benefits of lavender that a lot of people aren't even familiar with is it does a great job of repelling mosquitoes.
I was going to say, I haven't seen a single mosquito on you yet today.
No, and this provides a nice barrier preventing mosquitoes from coming in the front entrance as well.
Well, so it's practical and it looks beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And then on top of the berm here, you're going to see a trio of tree hydrangeas. These are our dwarf hydrangeas, and in 20 years, these won't get any taller than about 8 feet in height. You can see them heavily budded right now. Put out a beautiful white flower that lasts all summer long, all the way into fall. The neat thing about them is that in the fall, when we get a little change in the temperatures and it starts getting cooler, those flower heads are going to change to kind of a pinkish mauve color and then eventually burgundy. So a beautiful display of color, and we are highlighting them down around the base with some additional spotlights.
You don't see those every day, do you, the tree hydrangeas?
No, you don't. I believe here on this property we probably have close to a dozen different varieties of hydrangeas. Hydrangea flowers are one of the favorites of the homeowners here.
Yeah, cool, very nice touch. What else here, Mark?
Well, I wanted to share with you and the viewers out there, this is one of my favorites. It's just as simple as can be. It's a slab of stone, but I love how we transition from the custom brick sidewalk to the front porch with this just a big old rock sitting here just to bring us up to the level of the front porch.
It's all about transition, isn't it?
It is, it is.
Wow, fantastic.
Got one of our shade-loving perennials here. This is one of our chocolate snake roots, and it gets spikes of pink flowers later on in the summertime.
Hides the gutter a little bit there as well.
Thanks for noticing. And then because of these windows here are fairly low, we've got our lower growing plantings here, combination of our endless summer hydrangeas, our gold thread cypress, and our globe boxwoods.
Very nice, very nice. Well, you've done a lot more even around the turn here. We don't have enough time probably on one show to cover it all, but this homeowner really had a lot of trust in you, Mark, and you told us earlier that a lot of this design was pretty much up to you. They had some input, I'm sure, but not a whole lot.
Absolutely. They've been a joy to work with, and the relationship is continuing, and we also want to thank them for allowing us to feature this beautiful home and landscape on our show.
Well, if you would like to get some ideas about how to renovate your old and, might I say, tired landscaping, here's the guy to call on, Mark Linton. Linton's will do a great job for you at any level. So call him now. You can go online as well at lintons.com. Mark, great job as usual.
Thank you, Craig.
Beautiful, beautiful property. Hey, much more coming up here on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back.